Over the years, Funko has made tons of Five Nights at Freddy's action figures, some of them being really good and some of them being pretty bad, and today, let's figure out which one. So right here, we have got a tier list of every single Five Nights at Freddy's action figure, and we've got tiers to rank them being S, A, B, C, D, and F, ranging from amazing to very bad, and we're just gonna go through all of them. I believe this is in order of when they released, so starting off, we're going with the FNaF 1 character. First of all, the classic Freddy Fazbear action figure. At the time, basically our first game accurate Freddy Fazbear figure, or close to that. Not a perfect figure with the upper teeth and the ribbon on the hat, but it is pretty good. Other than that, there's not really any issue with it. So I'm gonna actually put it into the B tier, because there are issues, but it's pretty good, not amazing. So I'll put it there. Bonnie is pretty much the exact same thing. He's kind of just a reskinned Freddy. He's got the upper teeth once again. Nothing too crazy, so I'm just gonna put him in B tier as well. Chica I do like a lot. I think it is a pretty cool figure, but just like the other two, you know, it has the upper teeth. It is pretty good other than that. It's got the cupcake as well, and I think the cupcake looks pretty good, but I'm gonna put it with the other two here in B tier. It's actually rearranged them to be like the FNaF 1 stage. Wow, look at that. But Foxy, I am actually going to put into the A tier, because this guy doesn't have any issues. He has upper teeth once again like the others, but Foxy has upper teeth, so that's completely fine. I think it's a great figure. I guess you could say he doesn't have the golden teeth, and his endoskeleton is for some reason not painted, but he still has it. I think it's a good figure, putting it into the A tier. Golden Freddy, basically exactly the same as normal Freddy, so I'm putting it with the other Freddy. And then we've got Springtrap, the Build-A-Figure, something I miss a lot. You know, each figure comes with a piece of Springtrap, and you can put it together if you get all the characters. This figure is great, actually. It's not perfect, you know, the eye's a little weird, there's some issues with him, but it is a really good figure. I'm probably going to put it into the S tier just because great concept, pretty good execution as well. He's got all the pieces. I think they did a really good job with him. For sure, an S tier figure. Definitely the best figure from Wave 1. It's got tons of detail and some other figures that have tons of detail as well. Moving on to Wave 2 of the action figures, we've got the Nightmares. Starting off with Nightmare Freddy, the Nightmare animatronics are very good figures. They have so much detail, and for most of them, they kind of have zero issues. Like Nightmare Freddy, I cannot think of a single bad thing to say about him. You know, it would have been nice if he had frettles on him, but he does come with a frettle, which is great. So I'm putting this guy into S tier as well. Nightmare Bonnie, he kind of does have issues, mainly being the eyes. Other than that, I think he's like pretty perfect. But the eyes really mess with me. Having the white eyes, it's like very jarring to look like. The others, they have black eyes. Technically, I think they should be silver, but black is basically the same. The white is very weird. The other Nightmares don't have that, so I don't know why he has white eyes. For that, I'm gonna move it to the A tier with Foxy. I know it's a small thing, but it's a very glaring issue. Nightmare Chica, however, does not have this issue. I'm putting it into S tier as well. Great figure. Nightmare Cupcake looks great as well. Nightmare Foxy, same thing. I think it's a very good figure. Would have been awesome to see the tongue, but I mean, he didn't have the tongue in the game, so I understand that for sure. Good job with that. And then a weird one. I don't know why this was in this wave of figures, but we've got Funtime Foxy, the unbroken version of Mangle. It's, for the most part, pretty good. I mean, from the FNaF World version of Funtime Foxy, I think it's pretty accurate, but it's weird for the figure for them to make. It doesn't really have anything special. I kind of just want to put it into the B tier. I might move it up to the A tier later, but for now, I'm gonna keep it at B. I do like the figure, it's really weird. Then the Build-A-Figure for this wave of figures was Nightmarion, which honestly one of my favorite action figures, maybe even my favorite action figure, I'm not sure. It's a really cool figure. It's bigger than the rest of them. It's made of like a shiny material, which is interesting because the rest of them aren't. I think they did an amazing job with it. I've got no critiques for it. 100% an S tier figure. Oh wait, I missed a FNAF 1 figure down here. Glow-in-the-dark Foxy. I'm just gonna put it to C tier. It's a recolor of normal Foxy, except the colors are like kind of off for some reason. I'm gonna put it to C. It is very rare, which is unfortunate because it is kind of cool. It's like one of the rarest pieces of FNAF merch, but it's nothing crazy, so I'm putting it to C. Then the exclusive for the second wave of figures is Jacko Chica, basically just a recolor of Nightmare Chica. Unfortunately, unlike Nightmare Chica, it has some issues. For whatever reason, they made the head like have transparent glow-in-the-dark parts, which is awesome, but not the rest of the body. The rest of the body is just completely normal. So for that reason, I'm gonna put it into the A tier, but I do think it's a really cool figure. Comes with the pumpkin prop, which I think is awesome. I do love it, but I'm putting it to A. Oh, actually, Nightmare Chica does have an issue. Technically, the blue eye should be gray, but it's not that obvious. I didn't even know that was an issue until pretty later on. So I'm gonna keep it in S tier. I think it's great. Next up, we go to wave 3 with the sister location figures. First up, we've got Baby, which I think is pretty good. Unfortunately, none of like the faceplate lines have any paint on them, so it's just, you know, like white all across, when it would be nice to have like some black painted on. Other than that, great figure. I'm putting it to A tier. I think it's pretty good. Same with Funtime Foxy. I think they did a great job, but it would have been nice to have some paint in the faceplate areas. Same goes for Ballora, all the same stuff. However, Funtime Freddy, they actually did have a line going through where the faceplates are, and that makes it a very good figure. The others are good figures as well, but this one just takes it a step up and makes it pretty perfect. You know, there are more faceplates, like they didn't paint down at the bottom, but I feel like they don't really need it there. I think it's a great figure. Unfortunately, the Build-A-Figure for this wave in particular is a bit disappointing. Kind of. It's the Ennard figure, which is incredibly detailed, very cool. The body looks amazing, but the face, for whatever reason, has no eyebrows, and the hat doesn't have the green stripe on it. Now, these are kind of small issues, but I don't know. Like, having no eyebrows is pretty jarring, similar to the white eyes on Nightmare Bonnie. So I'm gonna put that to A tier, honestly. I do think it's amazing, but it's just such an obvious issue. I kind of feel like it needs to go to A. It is weird that they did this, because there are times where Ennard is only seen with one eyebrow instead of two, but as far as I know, he's never seen with 0 eyebrows, so I don't know why they did that, but they did. Another figure that has eyebrow issues is the Lulbit figure, which was an exclusive to Walgreens. It, for whatever reason, has eyebrows, which now is actually fine because of Help Wanted. Lulbit has eyebrows in Help Wanted, but in Help Wanted, they are white eyebrows, not orange, so it does have an issue. Other than that, it's great. I think they did a great job with it. It does have a hook, which is true in FNAF World, but in Help Wanted, it doesn't. So having eyebrows and a hook, you know, it makes it hard to say good stuff about it, but I'm putting it to A tier. I still think it's pretty good. It just has issues. Moving on from FNAF 5 sister location, we're going to FNAF 6 Pizza Sim with the mediocre Melody Pig Patch. This figure I think is great. I have no issues with it at all. I think they did a very good job with it. Doesn't have anything special, like not crazy amounts of detail, but I mean, I have 0 issues with it. Great figure. I kind of want to move it to S tier, honestly. I have no issues, like I said, with it. I think it's amazing. Same kind of, I mean, with Orville. It's nothing crazy, but he looks great. They did an amazing job with him. He does actually have upper teeth, though. He should not have upper teeth. You can't see it in this image, but he has upper teeth, and he should not have those. So I'm actually going to move it down to A tier for that. And you may be wondering, hey, he's got the same issue as the FNAF 1 figures. Why isn't he in B tier with them? I might change that later, but the FNAF 1 figures just look a little weird to me. Where this guy, like, I think he looks amazing. So for now, I'm going to have it like this. I might rearrange some stuff later, though. Rockstar Freddy does have upper teeth, but he's supposed to, so I'm going to put him up to the S tier. By the way, I might get some stuff wrong here. It's been a while since I've, looked at the figures compared to the actual characters, so if I get any details wrong here and put characters in certain tiers for unfair reasons, I apologize. Same thing with Rockstar Foxy, although I will say, I do think he's supposed to have golden teeth, but doesn't really matter that much to me. It's not obvious at all, so I am putting him into S tier. El Chip, although he's very good, there are some issues with him. The face shape just in general looks a little weird. It should be, more squished. I don't know why. I don't feel good about his face shape. So I'm gonna put him to A tier. Call me crazy, but I feel like he deserves A. Lefty. Lefty is a good one, I'm pretty sure. For some reason, I feel like he has an issue, but I can't think of any issues. Oh, the nose. It's just like the nose is too small. The nose should be bigger. That's not much of an issue, but it is still an issue. I will say it is like one of the only pieces of Lefty merch that's actually black. Usually they make Lefty gray for some reason, but this time they did actually make him the correct color, which is great. So I'm actually going to put him up to S tier. I think he's an S tier figure. The Build-A-Figure for this wave, Scrap Baby, a very detailed figure, very cool figure, just like Ennard. It does have some issues. It should have painted face plates, and I think there's probably some other things. I think the eyes could be a little bit better. Other than that, it's pretty perfect. I think the body looks amazing. The hair looks very good, very detailed. It's just that the face has some issues, but it looks so good. I really want to put it to S tier. Because to this point, of all these figures, I think it might be the most detailed. And I think this might be my favorite. I said Nightmare On, might be Scrap Baby, so I kind of want to move it to S tier. Then we've got a very small wave here, the Curse of Dreadbear wave. Reason it's so small is because they stopped doing Build-A-Figures, which is very sad. I miss Build-A-Figures a lot. They were great. Everyone loved them, but they are no longer here. But we do have Glitchtrap, which is great. Glitchtrap is a character we never really got merch of. I think they did a great job with this figure. I don't really like the vest because the stars are very hard to see on it. They should be way more obvious. So I'm going to put it to A tier instead of S tier, but I do think it's good. Another thing with this wave is they didn't give the characters props. Like, Glitchtrap, he probably should have had the Vanny mask or the little Glitchtrap plush. He came with nothing. Dreadbear also came with nothing, but it is a very cool figure. I really want to put it to S tier because I love it so much, because it's just such a great figure. Like, the mold for it is amazing. It's just, unfortunately, completely the wrong color. Dreadbear should be like a brownish, maybe green color, but this is like a mint. He's not mint at all. So putting it to A, but I do really like the figure. Now, Grim Foxy is a figure I actually very much do not like. The mold is pretty decent. I do think they did a pretty good job with the mold, but he's a very ugly color. Grim Foxy should be like a very dark brown. They made him bright orange. He also has like weird transparent bits, which was cool in Jacko Chica, but it just looks weird on him. Yeah, and they gave him no pants, and like Jacko Chica, the clear bits are only in some parts. It's just a very weird figure overall. I'm gonna put it to C tier. I don't like it at all. And jumping ahead a bit, Jacko Bonnie is the same thing. Good mold, but the colors are all weird. They did weird stuff with the transparent bits. I don't like it. I'm putting it to C tier. Which is a shame, because the characters are really cool. Grim Foxy and Jacko Bonnie, I really like their actual characters in game. It's just, the figures, man, they did not do a good job. They did do a good job with the other Foxy in this wave, though. Captain Foxy, a pretty surprising thing that they ended up making. This was a Walmart exclusive figure, which is Foxy in his captain outfit. I think they did a great job with it. I have 0 issues. I'm putting it to S tier. I don't think there's much of an order to this. It's strange, because we actually missed glow-in-the-dark Baby, which is the same as Baby, just glow-in-the-dark. I'm gonna put it in B tier, just a tier below, because it's just the same thing. Well, I guess for that it should be in the same tier. You know what? Yeah, I'm being unfair. It should be in the same tier as Baby, and this should be a tier below Foxy, because it's just a little uglier. Now we have like the worst figures. The Security Breach wave of figures. The figures that came out before the game released for some reason, and they just did a really bad job. For some reason, Glamrock Freddy, they recolored Funtime Freddy into him, which doesn't work at all. Definitely putting that into D tier. I'm putting it to D tier. Montgomery Gator, same thing. For some reason, they recolored Funtime Freddy's head, which is weird. Monty's not like Freddy at all. They did like extend it, so it looks kind of decent, but D tier. Recolored normal Chica to be Glamrock Chica. D tier. Recolored the Funtime Foxy figure to be Roxanne Wolf. D tier. Vanny, they actually did make it up completely, and I think they actually did not a terrible job, but kind of okay. I'm putting it to C tier. Definitely not as bad as the others, but not good. Now these should be later on. This list is in a strange order, but we do next up have the Sun and Moon figures, which, let me say, these are perfect. These are perfect figures. I genuinely have 0 issues with them. They did so amazing. I mean, even the back of the head has like the part where I think the endoskeleton part where you like put in the thing to deactivate them in Ruin or whatever. Amazing job with them. Very good. They also made Eclipse, which the mold is amazing of, but the colors are kind of weird, so I'm gonna put it into A tier. I do think they did a really good job. It's just the paint is a little off. I'm not a big fan of it, but they did a very good job with the other 2 Ruin figures. Ruin Roxy, very good, amazing mold. The paint looks pretty good on it as well. I think they did a perfect job with it. Same with Ruin Chica, looks very good. The eyes look amazing. Those, like, I feel like they could have done very wonky, but they did a very good job with the eyes and, you know, the weird sludge on the mouth. So good. They did so good with the, like, newer Security Breach figures. I don't know what changed in them that made them like that, but they just did a really good job. Okay, I'm changing my standards slightly. I am moving down Lefty. I know it might be crazy, but I'm moving down Lefty. I'm gonna keep these, but Lefty, since it does have that kind of obvious nose mistake, I'm putting it down. Call me crazy, but I'm putting it down. Oh, and then we've also got the glow-in-the-dark figures of the Pizza Sim wave. I'm gonna move these all over to C tier. They're just like kind of uglier versions of the rest of the Pizza Sim figures, so I'm gonna put them all down here. We also got this random Security Breach figure, which is, what was it called? Photo Negative Glamrock Freddy. Why did they make this? I don't know. They didn't do this with any of the other FNAF characters, and they did it with one of the ugliest figures. It's just the Glamrock Freddy figure, except the colors are switched. So I'm gonna put that to D tier, I guess. I mean, it's not worse than the original. It's kind of just the same, so I'll keep it a D. Speaking of those, we actually have the black lights as well, which are the FNAF 1 figures, except the colors are just switched. So I'm going to put these at the same tier as the original ones, except... this is going to sound crazy, but the Blacklight Foxy, I actually want to move to S tier, because I don't have any issues with it. You know, it is a recolor with different colors, but I don't think that necessarily makes it worse. And they actually did something with this one that makes it better, which is they had the endoskeleton here. You know, you can see the other one didn't have the endoskeleton, or if it did, it had the endoskeleton and it was just painted black. This one's got the endoskeleton and it's painted silver. Looks amazing. I have no issues with it, which sounds crazy, but I think it actually belongs in S tier. And I think now we're up to speed on those, so we can move on to the FNAF AR figures, starting off with Freddy Frostbear, which I think, call me crazy, as I've said a lot, I think it's an S tier. I think they did a really good job with it. It is very accurate to Freddy Frostbear in game. They made him kind of transparent, which not sure if I'm a big fan of, but it makes sense since he is made of ice. He actually came with a prop, which is a giant icicle. He's got tons of detailing on him, pretty much everything that Frostbear has. And the thing that puts it over the top for me is they remove the upper teeth. You know, like I said before, Freddy, the original one, has upper teeth. This guy, they fixed it. They also fixed his head shape. It looks better than the original one. They improved on the original one by a bunch and made a really good figure. I love it. You know, it's a FNAF AR character, but they did a good job. One they didn't do as good of a job with is Shamrock Freddy. I'm actually moving this down to C tier because it's got some mistakes, you know, like the upper teeth. But what makes it really ugly to me is they decided to put like dirt on it to make him look dirty. Which looks actually pretty good in this image here, but on the actual figure, it looks really weird. They kind of make him look like a caramel apple, and I'm not a big fan of it, so I'm putting it down to C tier. For Easter, now was St. Patrick's Day. For Easter, we got the chocolate characters. Chocolate Bonnie is actually a pretty good figure. I really like it. I'm putting it to A tier because it's got like an endoskeleton in there. Like the bites are actually like hollowed out for some of them. The one in the chest, he's actually got like a big chunk taken out of his belly, not his chest, which is kind of crazy because all the other ones, the withering, you just have black behind it, like up to this point. So having like an actual big thing taken out, I was very impressed with, and the endoskeleton coming out there as well was awesome. Unfortunately, the colors are a bit off. They could have done a bit better with that, and the upper teeth are there, which they shouldn't be. But I'm a big fan of the mold for it, so I'm putting it to A tier. Now we got these other ones, which are kind of hard to rank, because these are, I guess, original Funko characters, which are Chocolate Freddy and Chocolate Chica. They do have upper teeth, like the originals, but since these are kind of original characters, I guess I can't really fault them for that. I think they honestly look good. I mean, same thing with before. They've got endoskeletons, they've got like actually cool withering. Like the Chocolate Chica, inside of her bite, she has white chocolate. Inside of Chocolate Bonnie, he's got milk chocolate. I think they're awesome. I'm gonna put them to B tier. I could put them higher, but they're weird. I don't know why they made these guys. So I think I'd feel crazy putting them higher than B. They also made Easter Bonnie, which I think is pretty good. I don't think it's any better than Chocolate Bonnie. I'd say it's actually worse than Chocolate Bonnie, so I'm going to put it to B tier. Could have done a bit better with it. I don't even think it has like the little tag coming off the ear like it should, so B tier I think is where it belongs. Then we got the Arcade Mayhem FNAF AR figures, which I think for the most part are actually pretty good. Finally giving us toy animatronic figures. We still haven't gotten normal toy animatronic figures, which is crazy, but we got the FNAF AR skin versions of them. I think they did great. Like VR Toy Freddy, I think it's great. I have no issues with it. I'm putting it to S tier. It's very cool. Same with the Livewire version of it, putting it to S tier. System Error Toy Bonnie looks great. Great Toy Bonnie mold, great execution. He's got lines all over him, which I think is awesome. Putting it to S tier. And then we got High Score Toy Chica, which I don't know, it's hard to say because I really like it. The eyes are a little off-putting to me, but I guess it doesn't matter much. The mold is actually pretty good for a Toy Chica figure, and the prop it comes with, being the 8-bit cupcake, I think is great. So I'm gonna put it up to S tier as well. I feel crazy doing that. Look at this line here. This feels wild to have. And then we have Radioactive Foxy. Honestly, one of my favorite figures Funko has ever made. particularly because it has an endoskeleton inside. I've made a video about this, cutting him open and taking out the endoskeleton. I think it's awesome. They put an actual endoskeleton inside of him, which they did not need to do. They did not need to do that, but they did. They went the extra mile, and I think that's amazing. Like, I almost want to make an extra tier and put him up there. Like, that's so cool. That's awesome. Toxic Springtrap, I'm going to put him to A tier. He's a little weird. It's basically the same as Springtrap, except he's got bubbles on him. But for some reason, they made him like a transparent material, which doesn't make any sense because Toxic Springtrap is not transparent. So I'm going to put it at A tier because it's a little weird, but for the most part, pretty good. And we've got Fireworks Freddy, one of the funniest FNAF characters. Freddy dressed up in some American clothes. He's got a firework. But Funko pulled it off really well. I've got to say, for sure an S tier character. They did an amazing job with him. Along with that, another American figure is Liberty Chica, which they did a really good job with, but upper teeth, I'm not a fan of that, so I'm putting it to A tier. Arctic Ballora, great job, I've got to say. I think this is an improvement from the original Ballora, which sounds crazy, but I mean, it's Ballora, but with tons of detail on it. More detail, even. I mean, look at this. Ballora over here doesn't have teeth. They gave Arctic Ballora teeth. It's got crystals all over it. Oh man, they did a good job. And then another very cool, maybe this one's my favorite FNAF AR character. I don't know. We've got Blackheart Bonnie, which just like Radioactive Foxy, has an endoskeleton inside. But not only that, it's got an 8-bit heart on the endoskeleton that glows in the dark. So just, you know, layer on top of layer with this guy. Amazing figure. For sure S tier. Then we've got these guys. A bunch of weirdos here. These balloon circus characters. I think they're great. I think they did a good job with these figures, but who are these people? These don't exist. I'm putting them all to A tier because, like, who are these guys? I assumed they were going to be in Ruin, and then they weren't, so I don't know what up with that. So I'm putting them into A tier. Then I thought they'd be in Help 1 and 2, which they weren't. So I think they might be in Secret of the Mimic. I haven't played it yet. Please do not spoil the game in the comments, by the way. I'm waiting till VR releases. I think these guys might be in there. Circus Bonnie actually seemed like in one of the teasers, it might have been him. So it's possible these guys are in Secret of the Mimic. And if I ever do another tier list of these guys after playing that game, if these guys are in there, I'm going to have to rank them more accurately. But from what I have here, I'm going to put them to A tier. They did an interesting thing with these figures, which is that unlike all the others, they didn't have the like ball joints separating their limbs from the characters like the animatronics. They had, you know, things. So like one full thing. Which originally I thought was weird. I thought it was just because they're like cartoon characters. But now that I think they might be in Secret of the Mimic, it makes sense that they, you know, they might be mascot costumes. And that's why they didn't want to separate them. Wow. If that's true and these are in Secret of the Mimic, that's crazy. Because these figures were made so long before the game. I think it was made before the game was even announced. Seemingly, I mean, maybe even before the game was in production. Which is crazy. I don't know how this happened if they are in Secret of the Mimic, but anyway, those figures are a thing. Then we got a bunch of recolors once again. Basically the same as the Blacklights. It's just Wave 1, but recolored. So I'm going to put them at the same tier as all of the other Wave 1 figures. Yeah. Okay, I don't like that. I don't like that he's an S tier. That doesn't seem deserving. I'm putting him down. I don't care that he's the same as this one. I'm putting him down. These are the tie-dye figures, by the way. I don't know if I stated that. And then like the Chocolate Freddy and Chocolate Chica, we've got some more made-up characters here, which is some Christmas Funko characters. We've got Santa Freddy. I think it's pretty good, honestly. Except upper teeth, so I'm putting it to B tier. Same with Elf Bonnie. I think it's interesting these guys actually gave them, like, cheeks. I think it's fun. I kind of like these guys. We've got Snow Chica, which is actually interesting because they didn't do the upper teeth. And they did a good job. Call me crazy. No, I'm putting it to A tier. Just like the circus characters, these are made up, so it's kind of hard to rank them. I'm putting it to A tier. It could go S for sure, but because the character doesn't exist, I'm putting it to A. Same with this guy, Gingerbread Foxy. Amazing figure. You know what? No. You know what? No. S tier. Yeah. S tier. Yeah. But S tier. Great figure. Awesome figure, man. Nutcracker Foxy, he's crazy because he's like actually a nutcracker. He's got this thing in the back of his head where you can move it and his mouth opens up, which is crazy. They haven't done that with any of the other Funko figures. Like if I were to make a new tier and put Radioactive Foxy, this guy up there, you know what? I make the rules here. Let's do it. Let's do it. Come. I keep saying call me crazy. I need to stop. I'm breaking new ground here. No one else has ever done this. I'm making the innovative tier, where we have innovative characters, such as Nightmare On, actually, such as Radioactive Foxy, such as Blackheart Bunny, and such as Nutcracker Foxy. These are characters that go above and beyond from the others. Nightmare On, bigger than a normal figure. Radioactive Foxy's got an endoskeleton inside, and so does Blackheart Bunny, as well as a heart. And Nutcracker Foxy's got that movable mouth, which none of these other guys have. So for the innovation, putting you up there in the innovative tier. And these could be considered innovative. These are bigger figures, the big figures, which are basically just the original Bonnie and Freddy, except bigger. I think they might have movable mouths as well, which is great. I'm gonna put them to A tier because of the upper teeth. If they did not have the upper teeth, I'd put them to S, maybe even innovative. But for the upper teeth, they stay down in A. But you know what? Oh, my light died. Now I'm in the dark here. That's kind of spooky. End of the list. End of the list. Let's see what we got here. Nothing in F tier, which is crazy, honestly. There should for sure be some stuff down here, but hey, I don't make the rules. We've got D tier here with the security breach characters, of course. C tier, we've just got some weird ones. These guys are ugly. We got the ugly guys down here. B tier, we've got not the worst figures, but just some weird stuff going on. You know, upper teeth, ribbons on the hats. Just an enigma there. We've got some weird colors, you know, all that stuff. We've got A tier, which is all pretty good figures. Like all these, I'd say they're pretty good. They're not amazing, but they're pretty good. I like them. Not too much to fault them on, honestly. Then we got S tier, amazing figures. Pretty much perfect, almost perfect figures. Tons of detail. Or they've gone a step up from what they did in the past and improved like they did with some of the, you know, Freddys and Foxies and whatever guys there are. And then above that, we've got the innovative figures. Figures that do things no one else has. Growing in size, looking within, and glowing from the inside from your heart. And a little movable mouth action there. So let me know what you think here. Very unhinged list. I try to go with some logic here, but there's some weird stuff, but I did this. So let me know what you think. And let me know what you would do in the comments. Let me know if anyone else is innovative like these four. And let me know who should go in F. Because right now, we've got an empty spot down here. And I think it honestly should be filled. But I've got a big heart. Like Blackheart Bonnie. And all these guys are not failures. But anyway, yeah, end of the video. So that's the end of the video. First tier list video on the second channel. If you haven't noticed, this is the Samimatronic channel, my new FNAF channel. And if you want to subscribe to it, you can click the button on top of my head. If you want to watch the other videos I've got on this channel, you can click the button over there and the button over there. There might only be one video up there right now, but whatever. Welcome, and I'll see you in the next tier list.